What's going on, everyone? Astrologer Eric Rosen here for Viking Rising Astrology. Wanted to pop in and talk about some really intense astrology that's happening here on January 20th, the inauguration day here in America, as well as going into the 21st. But before I get into that, if you want to get an astrology reading, click on that link down below in that bio. And if you just want to find out more general astrology and figure out what's going on with this nodal shift that just happened back on the 11th and is a year and a half implications of what you're moving away from and what you're moving towards, click on that link down below. It is the nodes changing signs for your sun, moon, and rising sign. So the big news of like what's going on in the astrology, the backdrop of the whole world, but also the inauguration here in America, is that Sun-Pluto conjunction that's finally happening that we haven't seen in Aquarius. We have not seen this in our lifetime. The sun is always that initiator. It's that life-giving energy, right? Like the sun literally gives us life. The sun is what we're looking at first and foremost when we talk about someone's zodiac sign and sun sign. It's like your life force, your vitality. So when the sun's going through Aquarius, which is its fall sign because, you know, it's got to shine and be more about connecting with other people and helping others. And it's not so much about the eccentric nature of the self. When it comes to Pluto, Pluto's this big grim reaper like revealer. It wants to put a death to things that it needs to just like reveal some hidden truth at the end of like facing our fears in order for a new start and an initiation, a rebirth, that phoenix rising moment. And so when the sun comes here, it's highlighting that we're here, like we are officially in Pluto and Aquarius, like the next 20 years, there's no doubt about it. Any feelings of uncertainty of, you know, moving out of the old world and into the new one, this is where we're really getting deeper into it. And of course, there's a lot of astrology that's come in this year that, you know, puts massive subconscious twist on how much this reality really is changing that we're existing in. But this is really about looking at, like, if you just look at it on a personal level, like, how are you feeling about your place in the world? I think that's first and foremost. Like, the world is a big place. It can seem maybe scary with Pluto here. There's a lot that uncertainty we can't control, but you can feel also a sense of honest yearning of people wanting to, you know, come together and connect, and also to disconnect from things that are just like, nope, that's got to put an end to that. And so the sun is absolutely kicking that off. And so this is looking at where your friendship's at, where is your community at, to put it in a more basic sense of things. Like, do you understand like your role and function like in an evolving world? And so there's parts of this where we're not going to understand that fully right away, but we almost have to just like take it in from a very deeply intuitive sense of things, and an openness of understanding the chaos and uncertainty of the heavens that Aquarius rules, and that this conjunction is opening us up to that part of ourselves that goes, wow, like it's kind of hard to really have like an exact plan to things that's going to go according to plan. It's going to be more so about this uncertain risk, roll of the dice energy on gambling on a better, higher timeline, because the timeline and the future of how things like look in the greater world around us is unpredictable too. So, you know, it would be like if someone's plan was like, you know, wanting to become like a crypto millionaire or billionaire. Well, there's no guarantees there. You know, if someone was like, oh, well, you know, AI is obviously becoming a bigger and bigger thing. It's like really going to be in our faces in ways we can't imagine. And so I'm being like, oh, well, I'm going to go get this, you know, tech job in AI or something. But it's like, it's the wild, wild west of things where it's like we have predictive factors of how we think things are going to go. But, you know, some people are like, well, we're going to hit a big technological phase of, you know, explosion. Well, that would be more, you know, like if Jupiter Uranus like met in Aquarius type thing, an expansion of tech. This is Pluto. It's a destructor. It's a revealer. I think it's more revealing about the hidden nature of like technology and like putting an end to things that aren't really truly of service to humanity. But I think that's a long ways away before we get to that point. It could even be more towards the end of this 20-year cycle. But, we're here. We do have the moon in Libra today. At the timing of the inauguration, it is squaring over to Mercury in Capricorn. So I think there can be some sense of diplomacy of having to just accept this is the direction that, we're going in, whether you love it, you hate it, you're neutral, doesn't really matter. And, when I look at the astrology, and I even looked at how today's astrology hit Trump's chart with the new administration, and it's like, it just seems like a lot of spoof, smoke and mirrors, fear mongering, uncertainty stuff. I don't think that anything major happens on the 20th. I feel like it's once the sun actually crosses Pluto the morning of the 21st and the days following that more stuff starts to get revealed. Some surprises, some shocks, maybe about how fast things move. Some of that could be with the Trump administration. Some of that could be maybe people being surprised, like, oh wow, the world's not ending and we didn't have a dictator take over type thing. It could be, really just all types of things. And I think the barometer to know what to kind of anticipate in terms of surprises and changes in our life that are really being asked for depends on the level of fear that you're at. It's good surprises that you at least have some free will, influence, and creative power over if you're living from a place more of freedom, because that's what Sun Pluto does, is it goes, hey, like, face your fears and you'll find freedom. Like, just get over, whatever it is that's holding your power back from ascending, from connecting, from being out in the world, and just go do that thing. Just like, let's find the beauty in the psychology of this instead of like the fear-based part of the uncertainty and the unknown. But for those that are feeling fear, worry, anxiety, well, that's when you will magnetize, negative surprises of sorts. And then it's almost like, it would be like running around with like a donkey tail, trying to like pin the tail on the donkey. And it's like finding some person, especially group of people, to like say is like a wrong situation. Could be in your personal life, it could be more collective. And so it's looking at that as like a wave of this part of the astrology of like, which part of that Pluto and Aquarius do you fall in? Do you fall more in the innovator, excitement, let's see where this goes and be a part of that change? Or do you fall more into the, I hate to say it, but right now there's a lot of victim consciousness out there of just like being afraid to let go of the old world, because we are absolutely leaving an old world. This is the ship like sailing away from the docks that we thought that we would always be able to see, like the scenery, the landscape. It's like the mountains, the dock, the things that you're used to seeing. We are pushing off to sea. I'm literally getting a vision right now. It's like with all my Viking heritage where it's like, it's pushing away from the village and it's going out into the sea, and it's maybe not feeling the most like, we don't feel the most like resourced or prepared, right? Like in terms of like battle, it's Chiron in Aries. It's like Uranus and Taurus being aspected by Mars retrograde in Cancer. That's like, wait, is the true safety actually there? Is the foundation there? Like, is the value straight? The partnerships, the money situations, currency? There's so much like up in the air, but like, this is what we came here for. This is what we came here for. I love this shit because we are here to be courageous and open and, to express these vulnerabilities with one another and just be honest about it and go, like, your soul didn't make a mistake. It didn't accidentally, vote for the wrong reality or vote for the wrong, incarnation, timing on Earth, the wrong planet. Like, you came here for this. And so no one's role is defined anymore. That's the beauty of this Sun Pluto. It's like, it's an equal level playing field now. You do not have to fit in and be a lemming and be the character identification that you've always been. You can be something radically different. If you've always been reserved, it's like you can go a little bit more crazy. If you've been a little bit, too rebellious and you need to like commit more to like, connection instead of something that feels like disconnection, you go and you do that thing. It's like no one is being pigeonholed anymore into any like way of like thinking, like especially from like a mass propaganda way of thinking, like and the worst part we could do is like put it out on a consensus world narrative anymore, because this is the part where, you know, it's like the stake that's the status quo hive mind of the world and this country just got turned into fucking, you know, chopstick, where it's like, you can have your own reality, you can have your own reality, like it's all different, and somehow it will all connect to, and that's the chaos of the heavens. It's like somehow the weather always like figures out a way of like balancing itself out. Somehow we always get certain parts of certain seasons. It's like in the Midwest, eventually the snow will melt. It's still been here, and it's like unpredictable snow comes, but it's like somehow nature always has a way of balancing itself out. And that's part of what the world that is Aquarius teaches us, and human beings, is that eventually we all find a way of connecting and balancing out to what we need to, and disconnecting from what we don't. And Pluto's sun is a big revealer of like where we need to do that in our life. So it's like, my most practical guidance today on a personal level would be to take, what is the thing that's been bugging you the most, driving you crazy, giving you fear? Like, is it money? Is it a relationship? Is it the uncertainty? And just deal with that fucking fear and put it to bed finally. And then maybe you'll feel the subconscious patterns try to like still pull you back down, you know, into that lower density stuff. With Pluto and Aquarius and all the Pisces energy with North Node, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, especially with Venus that crossed over that Saturn, you know, like irrational fears around values, money, you know, project situations. And it's just like, fuck it, just get over it. And then it's integration work. This is soul level integration work. You make a choice, you disconnect, you go connect to what you need to, and then you don't look back intentionally. But then when you feel something trying to catch up to you, it's not about running from it. It's about dealing with that pattern and going, oh, this thing, okay, I haven't seen it in this way before. Let me bring some love, compassion to this. You got to get some support from someone. You need an astrologer, you need a healer. Like, what do you need? Like, what do you need to move out of this? This is not a fuck around time and just eat your popcorn and watch what happens in the world. This is for people that truly have been waiting for the deepest spiritual freedoms that are coming to create their own life. There's a lot of beauty coming. Well, we got Mercury messenger card in reverse. So I don't know if everyone's ready for this message yet. I don't know if you're ready to receive your own, you know, insight. Maybe there's some unconscious like blocks, and that's okay. It's like, look within and see like, what is that block? Like, what is it that's keeping you from really truly receiving that divine message that wants to come in and unlock your mind? You know, like they talk about in the Matrix, like something unlocked my mind, you know, and it's like you free yourself like from that. And I got the Jupiter abundance card on the other side. You know, I think this is us, you know, shifting out of the thinking conscious mind of circumstances, South Node and Virgo, to what we see, to this more North Node in Pisces, which is the ruler of Jupiter in the traditional astrology of the abundance, the immaculate conceptions, the little miracles, the big and small, that can come from a better, more positive belief. And it's still rooted in fact, but it's like, it's weird because it's almost like where the facts are relative. It's not rose-colored glasses. It's more about the facts shift and change based upon your vibration of how you're choosing to co-create your reality, not you waiting for, you know, the circumstances to change for the heavens to part and for it to be the right perfect moment. It'll never come. That's not how this works anymore. You know, for people out there that want the perfect psychic reading of how your life's going to go, and oh, well, I see this person's coming, or I see that, like, it's done, it's dead. We've all got to rise up and just, you know, make choices that are prudent for our future. But the prudence also comes from like, what is it that you really want to connect to that excites you in life? Obviously never hurting people, never throwing especially groups of people under the bus, you know, being afraid of strangers. It's connection, it's empowerment to the people is where we're at now. So appreciate you all. If you want to get that reading or you want to find out about that special, if you're a sun sign, click on that like down below. I'll see you next time.